Mulan is directed by Niki Caro and is the newest live action Disney remake, which is a remake of the 1998 film Mulan, which tells the story about how Mulan has to disguise herself as a man and take her father's place so he doesn't have to go back and fight for the Imperial Army to stop northern invaders from invading China. I was kind of excited for this movie a while back because I thought it was going to be a more mature take on the story of Mulan, which I'm going to be completely honest, I've never sat down and watched Mulan in its entirety. I know what happens, but I don't have anything to recall for this movie saying, oh, it wasn't like that in the original, or oh, it was better like that in the original. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but this is going to be my interpretation of the film based solely on my viewing of this movie. So I'm not gonna say it was better than this in the original or it was worse than the original. But I'm just gonna say I don't think this is that great of a movie. I think this is a complete waste of time. Let's get some positives out of the way first before I completely blast this movie for all the things that I don't like about it. It looks good. There's a lot of shots that look really well, and I like the cinematography. A lot of the scenes look well lit. I love the shading of the colors on the actors and a lot of the scenes on the outsides. I think the costume design is pretty great. A lot of the armor that the characters wearing are just the normal clothing. I like the color of this movie too. This is a very colorful movie, and it's not like the other live action Disney remakes where you can't see a lot of the things, especially in Beauty and the Beast. I think that's all I really have to say about the positives for this movie because I absolutely did not like this movie at all. I think this movie is a complete waste of time. You can get behind the plot. It's a girl who is doing things that a girl shouldn't do in these times during China, and it's a really noble cause for her. But you can't get behind this character because this character is boring. The entire movie is boring. All of these characters are boring. Let's start with the characters. There's not a single side character I really liked in this movie, and that's all they are. They're side characters. They're meant to be people other than the main character in this film. I have nothing to latch on to these characters. There's nothing about them that is interesting in the slightest. They're just really boring. My biggest issue with this movie is the journey of Mulan because from what I've seen of the original film, it's she has to overcome the odds of being a girl that can't do the things a girl shouldn't do, during those times, and she overcomes the odds through a lot of training and she shows everyone what she can do. That's really cool. But in this movie, it's oh, you have this special power that makes you stronger than all the other people and you can't show it to them because you're a girl. And then she does it, and that's really her character. She does it, and she allows herself to show off her cool abilities, and that's really it. That's all there is to her character. It is really boring, and it's just lazy writing to me. It's oh, you were strong all along, and now you can really fight the people, the bad guys. How am I supposed to latch onto this character? It's really boring. Oh wow, you were strong all along. You didn't have to go through any training. People are going to make a lot of comparisons to Rey from Star Wars, but at least Rey was an enjoyable character. This character is not enjoyable in the slightest. Her causes are noble, but it's so boring to just watch her just be a badass without having to train in any of the slightest things. You see her just fighting people, and she can fight people all along. And that's just boring. She doesn't struggle at all in this movie. Like, how am I supposed to latch on to this character if she doesn't struggle? That's the main reason why we like main characters in the movie, because they struggle and then they overcome the odds. This person doesn't have to overcome any odds besides, oh, you're a girl, okay, bye. No, she doesn't struggle physically at all. She doesn't lose a battle or anything. It's boring. Besides that being my biggest problem with this movie, and it really puts my thoughts on this movie down a lot because that it's a major flaw in the movie that the main character doesn't struggle at all besides, oh, you're a girl, okay, I see. God, my other issues with this movie is that it's really boring, and I'm not interested or invested in anything in this movie. I was just sitting there for 2 hours just looking at the screen, looking at things happening. It's boring. It's nothing is exciting about this movie. There's no stakes. It's boring. I can't emphasize how boring this movie is. The pacing is really slow. I don't like any of the characters in this movie. It's not funny. I watched this with my family and they laughed quite a bit. I laughed once at a joke that I can't remember anymore, but This movie is not funny at all. And I'm not saying the movie has to be funny, but at least be enjoyable. This movie's not enjoyable in the slightest. Now, I'm a sucker for action movies. I love watching people get the crap beat out of them. I love seeing blood. Not in the sense that just blood everywhere. I like seeing action, okay? I love punches, I love swords, guns, whatever. The action in this movie is boring. I'm using that word a lot, but that's what I can say about this movie. I know there's talented people doing all the stunts, and I know all the actors are doing the stunts too, but the editing really ruins the action scenes. I can make out what's happening, but it cuts between every other 2 seconds during these action scenes. There's never really wide shots of the action scenes going on, and a lot of the times the shots are sped up or there's a lot of slow motion, and it really takes me out. It really makes me go, oh, they want this to seem cool, but in actuality, it's not really cool. It's just boring and dumb. I'm trying not to be a hater on this movie, but it's how I feel. It's boring. I didn't get excited watching this movie. I didn't even get excited watching the action scenes, and I love action scenes in movies. The action here was boring. I didn't get any stakes out of this. Nothing. There wasn't even any blood in this movie. There's like a little bit of blood on someone's hand because her hand got cut. She's like this villain in the movie, but that's it. People are getting stabbed. They're getting thrown to the walls. They're getting flung around. There should be blood. There's no blood. If you wanted to make this movie more serious than the original, then show some blood. Be mature. Why do you have to be so afraid to show blood and violence? What, because you want the PG-13 rating so you can get more money? It's not even working anyways, because you had to release this online on Disney Plus for $30, which, by the way, let me get on this tangent for a second. A lot of movies have been when they're being on rent on Prime or Google Movies or whatever, it's $20. At first, I thought it was dumb, but I realized that if you have a family and you want to watch it, $20 seems fine. You get it for 2 days. But with this, you have to not only pay your $8.99 subscription for Disney Plus, but you also have to pay an extra $30 for this premium access subscription to watch it. I mean, $20 is fine enough, but why 30? Because Disney feels like they can do it, because they know people are going to watch it. And a lot of people are going to watch this movie, I know. And I know they're doing this because they want to get back all that money they wanted at the box office, because this movie was going to make bank at the box office. I was going to estimate about $1.8 billion, because a lot of these live-action Disney remakes have been making well over $1 billion ever since the Cinderella movie. I don't think Dumbo made a lot of money. I think that was a box office bomb. But Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, all made over $1 billion, and these are live-action Disney remakes. I know this movie was definitely going to make $1.8 billion at the box office worldwide. And, sorry, that was my little tangent, but that's how I feel about Disney making you pay $30 to watch a boring movie. A movie you get nothing out of. Let's talk about the characters, and especially the villains. Villains in a movie are supposed to pose a threat. They're supposed to make you feel scared. I didn't feel intimidated by any of these villains. You know what the villain is? The Emperor killed my father, so I'm going to kill him. You can make that seem interesting, but it's not interesting in the slightest. It's just said just like that. The Emperor killed my father, so I am going to kill him and rule China. How am I supposed to get behind that? At least the girl villain's more interesting. Jesus Christ, the girl villain. I don't know any of the characters' name in this movie. That's how boring all these characters are. All I know is Mulan. I don't remember the girl villain's name, but she's this witch lady that can turn to a bird and can turn to multiple birds, and she can use that to hit people. I mean, it's just that I think that it's called a chi. Your chi, your ability, your power, whatever. They don't really do a good job explaining what it can do besides, for Mulan, making her jump higher and making her fight better, I guess. They did a really bad job explaining what it does. There's like 20 seconds where some general talks about it. I don't know. I don't know what to get out of that. It's just she can fight, okay? And this supervillain lady, she's just, oh, I was outcast because I had these cool superpowers, and I'm a witch now, and I don't fight for anyone. But Mulan, don't, be who you are. I mean, I get it. I understand it. Don't hide who you are. But she's this super powerful girl, Mulan is. Oh my god, I can't explain how dumb this was. I really can't. The villain was really, or the girl villain was really the most interesting part about the movie. But besides that, I couldn't latch on to any characters. The only characters I know from this movie are Mulan and some guy named Cricket, whose character is he is a guy who chuckles a little. That's it. I don't know who these other characters are. I don't know what their motivations are. Everything's boring in this movie. I can commend this movie for wanting to be more serious, for taking a more serious approach. It's not a musical. There's no songs in this movie, and there's no Mushu, the dragon sidekick from the animated film. And you know what? I don't care. You know, they can do whatever they want. It's a remake. They can do whatever they want. They don't have to do the original movie scene for scene, step by step. You know, I commend it for trying to be different, but my God, make it good at least. This movie is not good. I really sat there for a couple of hours. I really sat there for 2 hours looking at the screen like this. Imagine my face like that for 2 hours. Imagine how I felt during those 2 hours. I was bored. I couldn't get anything out of this movie. Besides, it looks nice. I know there's people, talented people, doing the action scenes. Sometimes it looks cool, like when the camera is like tilting from one side to another as these people are walking along the walls. Like that looks cool. Besides Mulan's journey, I think the biggest atrocity to this film is the editing. Oh my god, it was bad. It ruined a lot of the action scenes. Actually, it ruined every action scene. There's not an action scene in this movie that I want to go back to and watch. Everything just looks bad. I mean, I know there's talented people working on it, but the editing is just, hey, we're here, and then we're here, and then we're here. And you know, all within probably this much space, really, of two people fighting or something, and then they just move around. It's bad, you know? There's no excuse for that much editing to be taking place in an action scene. And you can have good action scenes with a lot of editing. The Bourne movies really emphasize that a lot, and especially the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, which I think has better sword fights than this. But my God, there's no excuse. There really isn't. Call me a hater, what you want, or whatever. I don't care. I think this is a really, really bad movie. There wasn't a lot for me to grasp onto. And Mulan's journey is the biggest atrocity in this film. You know, how am I supposed to latch on to this main character who is just perfect in every way, who can fight in every way, and the only downside is that she's a girl? I mean, I can understand that, but she doesn't struggle. She doesn't struggle physically. She can't lose a fight. Like, she doesn't even use her powers in a wrong way that gets her teammates killed or something. You can't even throw that at us, you know, to control your powers. I mean, there's scenes where she goes, "Oh my god, I can't control my shin," whatever the frick it's called. I don't know. They did a bad job explaining it. There's scenes where she goes, "Oh my god," they know, and everyone goes, "Oh wow, you can fight cool. That's cool." I mean, I don't. What is this? What is this movie? One more aspect I want to get onto about the editing in this movie. There's a lot of scenes where there's close-ups of her, Mulan, as she's fighting, and everything else is blurred out as if like there's like lens flares from the sun or something, like little flares of light. And the closest way I can explain this is during those bad trip scenes during Midsummer, where a lot of the things around them are wavy with lights. That's the closest I can explain to it. I don't understand what the meaning of that was. Was she getting in touch with her powers or something? I don't get it. It was just there during a lot of scenes, and it really took me out. I go, wow, what's that doing there? You know, is she supposed to be thinking that, is she supposed to be using her powers or something? I don't get it. All in all, I think this is a waste of 2 hours. I think this is a really bad movie. I'm going to give this movie a D plus. I think the last movie I gave that grade to was Rambo, but at least Rambo was entertaining, or Rambo 5. At least that movie was fun with cool action. This movie has boring action, boring characters. They really screwed up a simple story. They really screwed up a simple journey for a character. I can't believe they did that. How could you do that? This is atrocious. And I think this is really the biggest waste of time I've had in a long time for a movie. I was trying not to be angry. I was trying not to be a hater for this movie, but it's astonishing, really, like that you could screw that story up so much. I'm pretty I know for a fact that the old Mulan is so much better than this. After the movie ended, everyone said, "What'd you think of the movie?" Because they knew I wasn't excited for this movie. There was a time where I was, but before that, I was like, I have no excitement for this movie. I think this is just going to be a movie. When I watched it, it was worse than I anticipated. Like, wow, really? Oh my god. I was trying not to get worked up, but I did. And bad movie. Stay away from it. It's really bad. I know there's talent. I know there's talented people working on this, but my god, I can't believe this was the end game. This was the outcome of this movie. You had all the money, you had all the time, you had all the right working pieces, and you just screwed it up. Good job, Disney. Share this video if you want to show people what I thought about Mulan. Leave a like on this video. Tell me what you thought about Mulan if you've seen it. Tell me what you thought about my thoughts if you've seen it. And tell me how much you hate me for hating this movie. So yeah, that's the end of this review. I'll see you later with better movies to review about. Okay, bye.